world's best kept secret. The Citizen NH8350 is a masterclass in affordable watchmaking. This hidden gem brings high-end aesthetics to budget-conscious enthusiasts. That waffle-style dial, it's playing with light in ways that defy its price point. Those raised Roman numerals, they're making a statement that watches 10 times the price would envy. The 40mm case size hits that sweet spot, which is versatile for almost any wrist, no matter how big or how small. Inside beats the Miyota 8200 automatic movement, a reliable Japanese workhorse that'll keep ticking for many, many years. I do have to mention, the case is basic and the movement isn't winning any beauty contest, but strap this on and people will be wondering how you scored such a sophisticated timepiece. If you're after something totally under the radar, but still super affordable, the Merkur Salmon Cross is your ticket. This watch channels the spirit of those super expensive Japanese micro-brand watches that typically sell for thousands more. Styled around the 20th century Chinese watch design, this piece is a lesson in accessible luxury. What makes it so nice? I'll tell you. A manual wound movement that's absolutely insane for sub $100. And that salmon pink dial, it's oozing those elegant, expensive vibes. At 38mm, it's perfectly proportioned to pack in tons of detail. The crosshair pattern on this dial is a classic design element that high-end brands like Patek Philippe have used for many decades. Not only does it have a pretty face, but it's a true nod to horological history. Its blued hands provide a gorgeous contrast against the salmon background, creating a visual pop that catches the eye immediately. Throw it on a beads of rice bracelet and you've got a watch that'll have people asking, wait, how much did you say that cost? I'm about to blow your mind. Think you need to drop thousands to look like a watch boss? The Casio Edifice Sapphire is here to prove you wrong. This sports watch transcends its category. Picture a Royal Oak's rebellious cousin crashing a luxury party. That screwed flat outer bezel, consider it a cheeky wink to expensive timepieces. The vertical brush dial doesn't just finish the look, it performs a light-catching dance that'll have people scoping out your wrist and asking others, how much does Jim make a year? Sapphire crystal, 100 meters water resistant, under $200? Casio's basically committing robbery at this price point. The solid end links on that bracelet create a seamless transition from case to bracelet, a hallmark you'd expect to find in much pricier timepieces. Pair it with that blue rubber strap matching the electric blue seconds hand, and you've got a watch that'll silently broadcast, I know something you don't, to everyone who catches a glimpse. If you're after an everyday watch that punches above its weight class, then the old school Seiko 5 range is your secret weapon. The SNK L23 is a testament to Seiko's mastery of affordable luxury. This is the watch that went viral back in 2017, with Hodinkee dubbing it the $75 watch that looks like $1 million. You can't snag it for $75 anymore, it's been discontinued, but finding one for under $150 is still possible and an absolute steal. At 38mm, it sits in that sweet spot for case sizes. The black sunburst dial is absolutely mesmerizing, changing from jet black to charcoal gray depending on how the light hits it. It does have a basic 7S26 movement and a Hardlex crystal that won't win any tech awards. But the details? The details will make you forget all about those minor flaws. A color-matched frame date window, a vertically striped outer dial, and those stunning Dauphine hands create a look that surpass expectation. And let's not forget, this is a Seiko 5. That means you're getting a watch from a line renowned for its reliability and value. Watch fam, prepare to meet the chronograph that's about to school you in affordable horological magic. The Sugis Chrono Heritage is a game changer in budget-friendly watches. This watch is a time-traveling masterpiece that looks like it escaped from a high-end collector's vault. Sporting the legendary ST 1901 column wheel movement, it's more mechanical street cred than watches triple its price. For those who might not know, a column wheel chronograph is typically found in much more expensive watches. It provides a smoother, more precise operation of the chronograph functions. Think about the difference between a basic point-and-shoot camera and, say, a professional Sony mirrorless camera like we're recording on now. While both capture images, the professional mirrorless offers a level of control and precision that elevates the entire photography experience. The column wheel mechanism brings that same level of refinement to the chronograph function, delivering a tactile, responsive activation that watch enthusiasts can truly appreciate. 38 millimeters, it nails those vintage proportions perfectly. The chronograph pushers have this satisfying click that feels much more premium than the price would suggest. And that domed acrylic crystal, it distorts the light in that old school way that vintage watch collectors go crazy for. Whether you're vibing with the green or silver dial, this piece is serving up throwback vibes. Those perfectly proportioned pushers and classic dial layout, Sue just basically bottled up the essence of a mid-century chronograph and made it accessible to the masses. Strap this on and be prepared for the compliments that roll in. No inheritance required. The Citizen ProMaster Diver, this timepiece challenges luxury watch conventions in ways you won't believe. 200 meters of water resistance, a unidirectional bezel, and build quality that screams, "I know my watches." This is the kind of dive watch that actual divers would respect, but won't require you to sell your car to own one. The design is so sharp, you'll feel like you're wearing a piece of professional equipment that just happens to look incredibly cool. Some perspective here. Many dive watches from luxury brands offer similar specs at 10 times the price. We're talking 200 meters water resistant, a feature you'd find on divers costing thousands. The unidirectional bezel isn't just for show. It's a crucial safety feature for timing dives. The crown at 4 o'clock is a distinctive design choice that adds character while improving comfort. The lume on this thing is incredible. Charge it up for a few seconds and it glows like a torch in the dark. And then there's the EcoDrive technology. Powering this watch with any light source means you'll never need to worry about battery changes. At around $250, this is the watch that proves you don't need to spend thousands to look like you know exactly what you're doing underwater, or anywhere else for that matter. Because let's not kid ourselves, we're not really diving with these watches anyways. If you've had enough of mechanical watches and want something tough and ready, then this next watch is your new best friend. The Casio G-Shock GMS 5600 blurs the lines between affordability and premium quality. This G-Shock features the classic squared case design, but here's their secret sauce with this watch. It comes in a staggering 38 millimeter case diameter with just 11 millimeters in thickness. Think of it as the Ninja of G-Shocks, one of the smallest, fully capable G-Shocks on the market. That fully polished stainless steel case looks like it belongs on a watch 3 times its price. The contrast between that tough, utilitarian G-Shock design and that gleaming metal finish creates something truly unique. And don't be fooled by its good looks. This thing is still a G-Shock at heart. Somehow, Casio managed to maintain a 20-bar water resistance rating and incredible shock-resistant capabilities, all packed inside a fully polished steel shell. We're talking about a watch that can withstand impacts that would destroy most other timepieces. The shock resistance rating on G-Shocks is no joke. These watches are tested to survive falls from 10 meters onto hard surfaces. Find me a luxury watch that can do that. If you don't have a small wrist, no worries. The GM 5600 comes in a larger size too. Both versions can be had for less than $150, which for a steel G-Shock is just ridiculous value. This next watch is basically the Swiss Army knife of affordable timepieces. The Citizen EcoDrive BM8180-03E. That's a long reference number, but it's value-driven watchmaking at its finest. At 37 millimeters with a slim 9.5 millimeter profile, this field watch sits perfectly on almost any wrist size. That black dial with those bold white Arabic numerals give you that classic military field watch vibe that never goes out of style. Picture wearing a piece of tactical equipment, but one that's refined enough for daily wear. The 100-meter water resistance means you don't have to baby this watch. Take it swimming, hiking, or camping without a second thought. And the canvas strap it comes with will develop a gorgeous patina over time that tells the story of your adventures. Forget about battery changes forever. This bad boy eats up light like it's an all-you-can-eat solar buffet. Even in a zombie apocalypse bunker, this watch will keep ticking. I mean, as long as you have a lamp stashed away somewhere. Plus, the eco-drive movement in this watch is incredibly accurate. We're talking about the accuracy that rivals high-end quartz watches, with variations just plus or minus 15 seconds per month. That's the kind of precision you'd expect from watches costing way more. At about $150, you're getting a watch that's part technology marvel and part fashion statement. This timepiece says, I'm practical, I'm stylish, and I definitely didn't blow my budget to look this good. If dress watches are your jam, then the Orient Bambino versions 1 through 4 bring high-end aesthetics to watch enthusiasts on a budget. It's a time machine that'll transport you back to an era of classic elegance. The dome crystal giving serious vintage vibes that'll make people think you've raided a 1950s watch collection. The way it distorts the edges of the dial at extreme angles is pure poetry. At 40.5 millimeters, it has the presence on the wrist without being overpowering, and that slim profile slides effortlessly under shirt cuffs. With an in-house movement that laughs in the face of watches twice its price, the Bambino is the James Dean of affordable watches. Cool, classic, and way more sophisticated than its price tag suggests. The date window at 3 o'clock is perfectly executed. Not too big, not too small, just adding functionality without disrupting the dial harmony. The best part is the diversity. The Bambino comes in a variety of dial colors and designs, from classic white to sunburst blue, from champagne to deep forest green. There's a Bambino for every style. You can almost have any style dress watch at your fingertips. Whether you're going for that old school gentleman look, or you want a watch that can slide seamlessly from coffee meeting to a cocktail hour, the Bambino has you covered. At about $200, it's one of the best valued watches on this list. If you want an affordable dive watch that looks super expensive, the Orient Kamasu pushes the limits of affordable timepieces. This watch has more detail than any sub 500 watch has any right having. From the beautiful dial finishes to the perfectly framed date window, it's all done to perfection. The Kamasu, Japanese for Barracuda, earns its predatory name with those razor-sharp hour markers and aggressive styling. At 41.8 millimeters, it has the presence that you want in a dive watch without overwhelming smaller wrist. And that sapphire crystal, almost unheard of at this price point. With the Kamasu, you get a ton of choice, everything from Gen 1 Sunburst series to Gen 2 models. Each dial is packed with so much detail, it looks like a premium timepiece. The unidirectional 120-click bezel has action that feels satisfyingly precise. No backplay, no wobble, just solid clicks. Inside beats Orient's F6922 automatic movement with both hand winding and hacking capabilities. The 40-hour power reserve means it'll keep ticking even if it sits on your nightstand over the weekend. And there's a premium feature that's a must-have for any legitimate dive watch. The Kamasu sports a screw-down crown. This isn't for show. It is a crucial feature that ensures water resistance and adds to the overall durability of the watch. So, a feature-packed watch like this for under $250, it's the kind of bargain that watch collectors are always on the hunt for. Now, first up in our top tier for watches around $500, we have the Baltic HMS, a timepiece that embodies accessible luxury in its purest form. This brand just proves that limited production can create something truly special. At 36.5 millimeters, the HMS nails those very classic proportions. The stepped sector dial is something you typically only find on watches costing much more, like thousands more. That high-end domed Hesalite crystal adds a warmth and character that flat sapphire just can't match. And those leaf-shaped hands, pure vintage elegance. Baltic is part of the new wave of neo-vintage brands that mix old school cool with modern reliability. For those unfamiliar with neo-vintage, it refers to modern watches that draw heavy inspiration from classic designs of the past, but with updated materials and movements. Think of someone bottling up horological nostalgia, but offering up at an accessible price point. In this particular model, the attention to detail is so meticulous, you'll be convinced someone snuck a luxury brand logo onto this watch. The Miyota 8315 automatic movement offers a robust 60-hour power reserve, which outperforms many watches at twice the price. The brushed railway track surrounding the sector dial creates incredible depth and layered dimensions that's really captivating. With limited production runs, you're snagging a piece of modern watch history in the making. Imagine being able to pay for a future classic before everyone else catches on. At around $400, this is a sophisticated choice for those in the know. And now for a true showstopper, the Seiko Cocktail Time. This timepiece represents a game changer in budget-friendly watches. That dial, it's a work of art that captures light like a perfectly mixed martini. Dreamed up in collaboration with Shinobu Ishigaki, a mixology maestro from Tokyo's swanky Ginza district, this watch is what happens when watchmaking meets cocktail crafting. At 40.5 millimeters, it has enough wrist presence to show off that incredible dial without overwhelming your wrist. The hands are expertly designed, razor sharp, and precisely finished, catching the light at every angle. And those applied hour markers add a three-dimensional quality that creates incredible depth. This dial dances with light, shimmering and shifting like the surfaces of a perfectly stirred martini. In some lighting, it appears almost solid blue. Then, with a slight turn of the wrist, it explodes into a starburst pattern that radiates from the center. This watch is basically like having happy hour on your wrist 24/7. Inside beats Seiko's reliable 4R35 automatic movement, offering hand winding and hacking capabilities with a 41-hour power reserve. Grand Seiko vibes at a fraction of the cost? Yes, please. To top it off, the Cocktail Time has achieved cult status among watch enthusiasts. It's one of those rare pieces that's respected by both newcomers and seasoned collectors alike. Strap this on and you're wearing a conversation starter every time you're out for a drink or two. I know this one's slightly above our price range new, but trust me, this is the Swiss-made secret weapon you didn't know you needed. And it can be found for around $500 on the used market. The Christopher Ward C63 GMT challenges luxury timepiece conventions in ways that'll make your wallet breathe a sigh of relief. At 39 millimeters, the size is absolutely perfect. Big enough to have presence, small enough to be elegant. The case design is Christopher Ward's signature here, with alternating polished and brushed surfaces that play with light in the most captivating ways. That pop of orange on the GMT hand adds just the right amount of character to an otherwise restrained design. You're getting Swiss-made quality without the Swiss bank account requirement. The Sellita SW330 automatic movement is the same one used in watches costing many, many times more. The finishing on this is impeccable, and those applied indices have perfectly cut facets. The GMT function, it's for all you budget jet setters who want to look like you've got international connections. This is a watch that looks really expensive. It has design architecture that whispers, I'm more worldly than you, but without being pretentious. A little insider tip, Christopher Ward operates on a direct-to-consumer model. This means they cut out the middleman, allowing them to offer Swiss-made quality at a really low price. So you're getting the quality of a real luxury watch without paying for fancy boutiques or celebrity endorsements. Pre-owned, this bad boy is your ticket to looking like you've got a passport full of stamps and a watch collection to match. But in reality, it just means you've got great taste in watches. Here's a watch that's been breaking the internet for the past few years, the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. If you want that premium integrated bracelet look, but don't have the spare 40 grand lying around for an AP Royal Oak on the secondary, then this is your ticket. This watch is the love child of a luxury sports watch and affordability. That integrated bracelet is so smooth, it makes luxury watches feel a little silly. The transition from case to bracelet is seamless, creating that uninterrupted flow that's the hallmark of much more expensive designs. The waffle pattern dial that Tissot calls tapisserie pattern is directly inspired by those iconic luxury sports watches from the 1970s. It creates a stunning play of light and shadow that gives the watch incredible depth and character. At 40 millimeters, it hits the sweet spot between presence and wearability. Inside beats the impressive Powermatic 80 movement with its 80-hour power reserve, meaning you can take it off on a Friday, put it back on a Monday with no need to reset. The dial finish is crisp and there are multiple colors to choose from. Here's where it gets really interesting. The Powermatic 80 movement features a silicone balance spring. This is a high-end feature typically found in expensive watches. Silicone is anti-magnetic, less affected by temperature changes, and doesn't need lubrication. Tissot has essentially snuck a piece of luxury watch tech into an affordable package. At around $450 pre-owned, this could be your cheat code to looking like you've got expensive taste without that expensive price. For our grand finale, and just when you thought you couldn't possibly squeeze any more value into this list, here's the main Manhattan. This timepiece stands as a testament to democratizing watchmaking. It really does look like it should cost 10 times more. Serving up some serious luxury sports watch vibes, this beauty is one of those scrappy underdogs in a boxing movie. Adrian! Its integrated bracelet is pure class. The slim profile, it'll slide under your cuff like butter. And at just 5.9 millimeters thick, this is one of the thinnest watches on our list, creating that sleek, sophisticated profile that expensive, ultra-thin watches are known for. Let's put this into perspective. We're talking about a watch that's thinner than many high-end, ultra-thin pieces from brands like Piaget or Bulgari, but at a fraction of the cost compared to those other brands. Maine has essentially taken the blueprint of these luxury ultra-thins and said, challenge accepted. The Manhattan's dial comes in various colors, but that blue sunburst is particularly striking, shifting from navy to electric blue depending on how the light hits it. The applied hour markers are perfectly executed, adding another level of interest to an already impressive dial. Packing in a Swiss automatic movement, sapphire crystal, and 100 meters water resistant, Maine has taken the affordable watch category up a notch. The bracelet features individually brushed links with polished bevels. This level of detail is something that's just not found in the sub $1,000 category. And at around $650 pre-owned, this is an actual luxury watch on the wrist.